This is Business LO, a podcast by the Lake Oswego Chamber of Commerce, which connects, educates, advocates, and champions our business community. We have nearly 500 members from international corporations to home-based businesses, and we serve them all. Each episode of Business LO gives insider information to the local business community and the neighbors who support them. And now, let's talk Business LO.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Business LO. So excited. I'm Michelle Odell, and my co-host today is our very own Liz Hartman. She is the Lake Oswego Chamber of Commerce CEO, and she's everywhere in the community. And our guest today is Heather Graves Ramsey. She's our board president, and we'll hear a little more about them in a few. But we're going to be covering a lot in this first episode. As the title suggests, what does the Lake Oswego Chamber of Commerce do for you? Its main functions and why you should be a part of it. And we're also going to learn about one of the most important programs that the Chamber offers for businesses of all types. It's called Leadership Lake Oswego. And Chamber member, Friday morning MC, and co-owner of the Academy of Modern Martial Arts, Christopher Boyer, will tell us all about that and the vital program that it is. But first, why are we doing a podcast? Well, as of June 2024, Edison Research estimates that a record high 100 million Americans are listening to podcasts weekly. So we want to get in on that, right? We capture attention when other media cannot. It's intimate, it's authentic, it's a wonderful connection. And it can be consumed while engaging in other activities. We're allowing listeners the behind the scenes of running the Chamber. And that leads us to today's topic. What does the Chamber do for you and your business? So the Lake Oswego Chamber of Commerce started in 1941. Over the years, the Chamber has been known as the voice of business. Most of the members are in Lake Oswego. Many of the members do business in Lake Oswego, but are located nearby. Today, we have Liz Hartman, CEO of the Chamber, and Heather Graves Ramsey is this year's board president. She is an independent business owner who does leadership development and executive coaching. Heather, what is the job of a chamber?
The job of the chamber is to really elevate our businesses, but we are a part of an ecosystem. And so the important part of this chamber, and the thing that I love about this chamber, is it not only is looking out for its businesses, but it's looking out for the city overall. So we connect, we advocate, we champion, we educate, and we do that in multiple ways, trying to make sure that we're engaging and bringing our community together. When we know one another, when we build those relationships, when we understand how we all are together, that is the goal of making sure that this community is as special and thriving as possible.
So, Liz, I've heard you say it's a Chamber of Commerce Day in Lake Oswego. What does that mean?
Well, every day is a Chamber of Commerce Day in Lake Oswego, but Lake Oswego is a city that shows well wherever you go in the city. We've got it all. We've got great restaurants and shopping. We have beautiful parks. We have trees belting the entire city. We have a lake. We also have a river. And most of all, we have citizens who care about the future of how our residents live, work, and play, and raise families. We have one of the most engaged and energized communities in Oregon. And that's why you hear so many people say Lake Oswego is a very special place.
Heather, you have many places where you could be volunteering your time. What is it about the Chamber that motivates you to serve on the board?
The Chamber really does three things for my time and energy. There's a lot of places that I do want to be volunteering, and it has to be a place that really makes sense for me, for my business, but also for me personally. And I think here, the Lake Oswego Chamber, what we do is we have great relationships. People are warm, they're welcoming, they're authentic. It's not about a transaction. It's about the long-term relationship and really just good people. So first thing, relationships. The second reason why I spend a lot of my time and enjoy spending a lot of my time with the Chamber is because it has a care for the community. It's not just about business. It's about our ecosystem. Our Chamber really does hone in and create a platform for all the different facets of our city to come together, to work together, not just in our own little silos, to be able to help create and make Lake Oswego one of the best places to stay, work, and play. That's the school district, that's the city management, the city council, the lake corporation, the businesses. all working together. And that's a really big reason why I'm interested and excited to be able to spend my time there. And the last thing is I feel like it's productive, right? When we volunteer our time, we want to have purpose. We want it to be something that means something. And I feel like my time is going to good use. We're either educating, connecting, advocating for, or championing our businesses that then champions and brings up the whole of Lake Oswego.
Tell us a little bit about who is involved with the Chamber.
Yes, so the Chamber is a mix of both small and large businesses, organizations, and our board specifically, we're really making a concerted effort to make sure that we have a representation of all of those different areas. So we have large, small, medium-sized businesses. We're working to get a lot of the different industries that are here in Lake Oswego on that board. We've done a really great job in the last few years of creating just a pipeline of bringing in some really just key sections within that board. So for example, we've got Dan Brown from Farmers Insurance. We have Shari Newman, who helps us represent the restaurant industry. We've got Tisha Simons. She's our legal locator services, professional services, also business leader of the year, who brought in over 150,000 people to the city of Lake Oswego. We have Eric Seifert, who is with Aldridge Advisors. As you can see, it's a different mix of industries, but also sizes of organizations, because we do want to make sure that we're representing all of Lake Oswego.
You talk about people engaged in the future of the city, businesses, and the community. Tell me about how this community got to that place.
Lake Oswego has a history of visionary thinking, whether it is from the city council or the school board or the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce in 1985, one of our very first community leadership programs started, and it was through the efforts of the Lake Oswego Review, which is a local paper that just celebrated its 100th anniversary in Lake Oswego. So we know we have folks who have long ties to Lake Oswego. But since then, for Leadership Lake Oswego, we've had more than 800 people go through the program. And not every community has a leadership program, but what we find is when people come to Lake Oswego, they're transplanted or they've just moved here, they take a look if they're from other states that have had leadership programs, because it helps them connect with the community really quickly. And we're fortunate to have citizens who have supported that Leadership Lake Oswego program over the years.
Tell us how you plugged in, Heather.
I came in, there was a cohort of about 35 of us. Yes, it was during the COVID time, so it was a lot of virtual, but it really helped me to get to know so many people here and to understand how the city works. So it's not just a group of individuals, it's not just working on my leadership, but it's also just understanding how Lake Oswego works, everything from the school district to the fire to the police, the city, all of that, and just how it all comes together was hugely impactful to me, and it did help me engage and get really excited about the work that I'm doing in the community.
So Lake Oswego is known as a beautiful city, and the city council and city staff work hard to keep it aesthetically pleasing. Now, where does the chamber come in when it comes to that?
First of all, we have a lot of chamber members who are plugged into the city boards and commissions. So they are part of the folks who have that visionary long-range thinking. But the chamber had Doug Oliphant, who was the president of the chamber many, many years ago, who had visited Europe and came back and said, well, we need a village flower basket program. That was more than 35 years ago. And this is a program that is funded by our citizens. This is not the city program. Our local garden corner started 35 years ago by providing the flower baskets. And with the donations that citizens of Lake Oswego give us, we are able to fund 208 flower baskets this year that are watered every night by the garden corner. And we have some of the most vibrant, healthy flower baskets of any city around here. We continue to go to the citizens to ask for support for the program, and we thank all of you who have been longtime donors. We're particularly thankful for the businesses, because having a gorgeous city shows off wonderful businesses, and it makes your customers happy to come to Lake Oswego.
It's so charming. I remember my first time visiting Lake Oswego about 5 years ago and just thinking they just make everything look so much better. So is it true that there are as many as 30 new business licenses issued every month in Lake Oswego? And why should a business take a look at the chamber?
It is true, and we have 2,200 licensed businesses in Lake Oswego. That probably doesn't include everyone, but we do suggest that businesses take a look at the chamber because every month now we sponsor a new business license meeting where the owners or the managers of these new businesses are invited to meet our local business owners and representatives from the city and some chamber members. We truly want businesses to succeed, and we want them to have a really good start. Many of these businesses do join the chamber, and some of the new businesses will start with a ribbon cutting to introduce them to their neighborhoods. We put together the ribbon cuttings that bring some chamber members in, the ambassadors from the ambassador program, and we will invite someone from city council or the mayor to help welcome the business to Lake Oswego. We invite all businesses to walk in the annual 4th of July parade to experience the show of support that our citizens and visitors show our businesses every year, and they get to see what our community really looks like when you march through the parade and see everybody on the sidelines. There were about 3,000 people in Lake Oswego for the parade this year.
One of the goals of the chamber is to be everywhere. I know that seems impossible, but I feel like you really are everywhere. So what have you done for the business community in this last year?
Before I was on the board and before I was behind the curtain, I did not realize how much the chamber was doing. There's so many different things. So we have tree lighting in the Thanksgiving time period. Right after Thanksgiving, tree lighting, we help sponsor that with the city itself. This last year, we've done Friday networkings. Friday networkings are at a different location every single week, which then helps us just showcase some of these amazing businesses. We have Leadership LO, which is a leadership program that we were talking about before that helps with getting an understanding of the city, leadership, as well as getting a cohort of folks. We also have the business leadership program that we launched this January, which is a deep dive into just the leadership piece of how are people managing others and really having some ability to apply real life situations to their leadership. We have the community awards. This last year, there was an issue with human trafficking in our area. We pulled together a panel with national and local people to help make sure that our businesses and our citizens were aware of what was going on. Candidate forum. I know this is a lot, right? We did a candidate forum, which helped people to know really on an authentic level who is running for office and make their own decision on who they wanted to vote for. Not only did we have that forum, but we also put forward, here are some of the people that we believe will be good for the businesses in Lake Oswego. We also did 2 wine walks. Now, these wine walks are amazing because what they do is they bring people into the businesses. We have the LO wine walk in the fall, which is the first Saturday of October, and that one is about 800 people coming down with different pouring locations, getting to know the businesses, being able to be together in community, get to see one another, but also just really highlighting those businesses. Now, we did a really special thing this year because over in Lake Grove, we had the Boone's Ferry, the Oregon Wine Walk, and that's our new signature event, which will be in May. I know it's right before Mother's Day. It's a beautiful day to have a wine walk in May, and that's the Oregon Wine Walk, and that one was 400 people. This next year, we'll be able to expand that to about 600 people, but again, these folks are in there getting to know businesses that they never knew before and or just reminded of those businesses that are there and just enjoy one another. And also some of the wonderful wines that we have here in Oregon. We have a wellness fair that we do in September, and this is all the different wellness programs that we have in Lake Oswego, everything from fitness to the medical community, all of those sorts of folks. And then the Mayor's Breakfast. How can I forget the Mayor's Breakfast? That was just a wonderful way to kick off the year. The Mayor's Breakfast helped us to get a look into what's going on with the city this year, connect with the mayor, go into City Hall and have breakfast. It was just an amazing event that connected us. And then, of course, our holiday party, which we have towards the holiday season, which just thanks our members for an amazing year and allows us to have some time just to be social and get to know one another. And this year, we revitalized the Hop at the Hunt, which was one of the things that was going to go away. And we really just felt like this is a part of what makes our community really special, is having all those young people out there collecting eggs out at the hunt. You know, the chamber, our mission is to connect, to educate, to advocate and champion our businesses. And as you can see from all the things that I just listed, that's exactly what the chamber is doing. And it's doing it not only with its staff, but with the committed and just engaged members that are a part of the chamber. And they're helping us roll all of these programs out and make them such a success for the whole city.
It's such a wonderful place to live. We're so lucky to be here. Another part of making this podcast work are the sponsors, like Diamore Law Group. Let's face it, sometimes bad stuff happens. A serious injury, a catastrophic accident, or even a wrongful death, and it can turn your world upside down. When it does, you deserve unwavering support from a dedicated team. Yep, you need a lawyer. Diamore Law Group has over 30 years of experience protecting the rights of Oregonians. Their team of skilled attorneys, led by renowned trial lawyer Tom Diamore, will work tirelessly to make sure your voice is heard and your rights are protected. Here's what one of his clients had to say. Tom fights for his clients from the first day they meet him through the last day of trial. So if you need help holding those responsible for your injuries accountable, contact Diamore Law Group at 503-222-6333 or visit diamorelaw.com to schedule a free consultation. They're committed to fighting for the justice and compensation you deserve right here in Portland. Like we were talking about earlier, the Chamber of Commerce does so much for businesses and for the community as a whole. And one of the things we're probably the most proud of here at the Chamber is something called Leadership Lake Oswego. It started through the Chamber of Commerce in 1985. This year's class will be the 39th group. More than 800 people have completed this program that's included elected officials, local business people, school district and city employees, and even people from Clackamas County. Ours is one of the first leadership programs in the state of Oregon. That's impressive. This year's group is led by Christopher Boyer, a past class member and chamber leader for more than 5 years. And let me tell you, if you know anything about the chamber, you know about Christopher Boyer because he's a big part of it. So Christopher, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll talk about Leadership Lake Oswego.
As you mentioned, my name is Christopher Boyer, and my wife and I have run a martial arts school here in Lake Oswego for going on 30-some years now. And I've been involved with Leadership Lake Oswego all the way back since I took it as a participant of the class. And then I volunteered the next year to be on the leadership team. And then in my role on the chamber board, began to oversee the program. And then in 2019, with the help of Dr. Korash, started delivering the most recent set of the program. Leadership Lake Oswego really exemplifies what I think the chamber does best, and that is connecting people. Our town has all these different silos, from people within the education field, people within city government, police and fire, and our local business community. And the chamber, and in particular Leadership Lake Oswego, it is that program that germinates and gets everybody in the same room together. We like to say that knowledge informs, but it is relationships that transform. Because it's one thing to know information or to know things about your city, but when you've worked with, sat side by side, and spent time and developed some camaraderie with people within the city, you yourself feel much more comfortable going to City Hall, asking for what you need, talking to police and fire. Even though Lake Oswego is a small city, it still is a city, and there's a lot of different parts to it, and it's easy to sort of maybe feel lost within the city. But Leadership Lake Oswego is one of those things that turns the city itself into a small town, where you feel like you know everybody, and you can walk into a room, and you can deal with police and fire, and have a face for what that is. They aren't nameless, faceless organizations, but they're actually people that you know, and a big part of that happens in Leadership Lake Oswego.
That's wonderful. Now, the three main components.
There's three things that this program has always delivered on. One is actual leadership material. And so if you have an interest in sharpening your personal leadership skills and becoming more resilient and functional at navigating stressful situations, then this class is for you. Number two, being exposed to our different local leaders through our morning leadership speaker series. So if you have an interest in learning more about different local leaders and the way they go about creating the conditions for the success of others, then this class is for you. And then finally, of course, is the whole social connection in the cohort and becoming plugged into the community. So if you have an interest in expanding your network, becoming more plugged in to Lake Oswego, and enjoying the camaraderie of other local leaders, then this class is for you. And it really is relatively easy. It's 9 Thursday mornings across 9 months, beginning in September, to make valuable connections, to get plugged into the community, and to hone your personal leadership skills.
Where do we get more information, Christopher?
If you go onto the Chamber website, in the upper bar, there's a drop-down menu there, and you can click on Leadership Lake Oswego and find more about our meet and greet, which is going to happen on Thursday, August 15th at 5:30 at the Iron Light. That is free to attend. You do have to sign up, though. So if you're on the fence and curious about the program, you can go to the website, sign up for the meet and greet, and join us there to find out more about the program. And if you're already committed after the few things that you've heard already, you can just sign up on the website as well.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, we all know you from the Friday morning networking. You're the MC. You pretty much handle the crowd and keep everything moving, and you do a wonderful job. You're such a great part of the community, Christopher. And
well, thank you so very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to chat a little bit on the podcast today.
We'll talk to you soon. So our final portion of this episode is, what do you need to know in LO? What's happening for businesses? What's happening for all of our neighbors who support them? Tell us what's going on, everybody.
We have some exciting things going on coming up in these next few months. There is going to be a Third Thursday program.
Third Thursday will connect our businesses with local artists, and that will kick off in downtown Lake Oswego. The reason we're doing this is we'd like to get people in the habit in August, September, October, coming to our downtown retail, get them used to coming in the fall so that they will come during the winter, which is the slow time for some of our businesses. If you would like to support our businesses and our arts community, and these will be artists from Lake Oswego, please watch on the Lake Oswego Chamber website for more information about the Third Thursday program.
Excellent.
Is there anything else we need to know about what's going on in LO?
Yes, there is, because there is so much going on. We are so excited to have the tickets are on sale already for Saturday, October 5th. We have our wine walk. It's the downtown Lake Oswego wine walk. It has sold out not only last year, but prior years. So you want to make sure to get your tickets now. We want to do an extra shout out and thank you to our sponsors. We have Harnish Properties, who is returning as our title sponsor. They're also joined by our gold sponsors, which is Aldrich Advisors and Oswego Wealth Management.
What else do we need to know what's going on in LO?
Well, we really, really value health and wellness here in Lake Oswego. We have a very active community. And last year, the Chamber, for the first time, partnered with West Lynn. And we decided to do it again this year. So on Sunday, September 29th, from 11 to 3, you can come and visit up to 60 booths that are talking about health and wellness, anything from Medicare to insurance to anything to do with wellness. We will have some talks going on, which includes the hands-only CPR, drug awareness, and, frankly, some wellness resources. There is no charge for this program. We'll be there 11 to 3 at Millennium Park Plaza. And we want to thank our sponsors, Maxim Health Urgent Care, Northwest Natural Gas, and the Insurance Store. We'd like our businesses to know that you can increase your visibility with these sponsorships. Become a sponsor for one of our local events. The sponsorships for the annual tree lighting are being taken through August 31st, and that is one of the highest attended events in Lake Oswego, next to, obviously, the Festival of the Arts. But Festival of the Arts isn't until June.
Before we talk about what's coming up on our next episode, are there any people we really need to thank for helping us get this podcast show together? My first thought is Crystal Hanna. She's been great.
Yeah, Crystal Hanna with Lions Mortgage, for sure.
Our own staff member, Jen Petersen, who worked on the cover art and who sends out the newsletter every single week on Tuesday.
Which is such a wonderful resource. You don't have to think about it. It just shows up in your inbox. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, how do you do that, Liz?
You go to www.lakeoswegochamber.com, and if you scroll down to the bottom, you can click the link that takes you to the newsletter.
I just want to do a little extra thank you,
Yeah,
Michelle,
sure.
with Modcast Productions.
Oh.
I mean, Michelle, you have really just helped us believe that we can do this, but also just really helped us bring it to make it actually happen. So not only believe that we can do it, but also all of the logistics and the behind-the-scene things that nobody knew needed to happen. And Michelle, we just really appreciate your time and energy to help us launch this. It's amazing.
It's my pleasure. I love it. I used to be in radio, and I had all these skills in commercial radio and worked for many different radio stations as a DJ and as a public service director. And when I moved to this area, and my husband said, you can start any business you want. What do you want to do? And I said, I think I want to help businesses and organizations have their own podcast, because the same skill set, and I'm just applying it in a slightly different way. Thank you.
Nice.
I enjoy working with you ladies very much. One other big feature that if you really want to get your foot in the door and get to know people right away, it's one of the things that was a big part of my success here in Lake Oswego. Heather, tell us about Friday morning networking.
The Friday morning networking is at a different location every single week. And what it does is it allows a business to invite people to meet not only the business owners, but also their location, what they offer, and their staff. And it really helps on an intimate level to be able to know that these people exist. But the cool thing about it is there's so many hidden gems here that we would not otherwise know. And there was this one time I struggle with fashion. Okay, this is not my thing. I struggle with fashion. And going to these networkings, one morning was at Maple Boutique. And I went into Maple Boutique, and I never would have gone into a boutique otherwise because it's just, I'm not, I don't know. I'm not good at that. I walked in, and before I left, they were helping me with, I had an event I needed a specific outfit for. They were all helping me with what to wear. That is my now go-to place when I have an event. They just set me up, and it's an amazing thing, and that is because of the chamber, right? I would have never known about them otherwise. I would have driven by and thought about going in, but not gone in, and now they're my go-to.
That's what it's all about. And that's part of why we're doing this podcast, is to help give you a quick and easy way to find out what's going on and how the chamber can serve you as a business and just as a person in the community. Coming up on our next episode, it's going to be September 1st. And you know what that means. It means back to life, back to reality. Summer is over. It's back to school. And more importantly, it's getting back into a proper health and wellness routine. We're going to talk all about our health and wellness fair and what's going to be happening there. And what else do we want to touch on, Heather?
So we want our employees to be healthy, happy, and productive. And in order to do that, we need to focus in on what's going to help them stay healthy. And so in this next episode, we're going to give some tips on how to do that, whether it's in the flu season or just overall, how can we help the well-being of our employees?
Okay, we did it. We have our first episode finished. This show is going to publish on the 1st of every month. That way you can be ready to go for the entire month, know what's happening. And before we sign off, I want to thank our episode sponsor one more time, Tom Diamore and Diamore Law Group. Until next time, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle, for having us.
The Lake Oswego Chamber of Commerce thanks you for listening to Business LO. We would love to have you as a member so you can help Lake Oswego continue to be one of the best places to live, work, and play. If you want to share an idea for a future episode or become a member, visit us at lakeoswegochamber.com, and please like and follow us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And for help with your business podcast, go to modcastproductions.com.